What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the absolute best show in all of pro wrestling and sports entertainment. You know what time it is. It is the Royal Rundown. I am one half your host and duo, SERG VICENTE. Joining me is my sister from another mister, Miss Drede. Miss Drede, what it do?
What it is. It's been a weekend, y'all.
It has been a weekend. Miss Drede was actually in Chicago because that is where, I used to reside, where she currently resides. And, the absolute best town in all of pro wrestling and sports entertainment. AEW came back to their real home base, Chicago, and had a fantastic pay-per-view event. But before we get to that, everybody who's watching live right now on YouTube, on Twitch, as well as on we're already there. I just want to make sure we're on IG. We are there as well. Thank you guys for watching. Also, do us a favor, support the show. Etsy.com/shop /the Fight Pod Shop. We have merch. We have fantastic merch. We have hats. We have shirts. We have mugs. Do us a favor, please support the show. We really appreciate it. Also, if you love combat sports of all kinds, not just professional wrestling, if you like, MMA, if you love boxing, follow the Fight Podcast page itself. We do breakdowns. We break everything down there, recaps, breakdowns, fight news, as well as subscribe to the Substack as well. We have fantastic articles on all three sports as well.
That was well done, Serge. Well done.
You, I appreciate
that. Just laid that out. Yeah.
Had to get it. They've been doing this for a while. We got this.
Hot minute.
All right. So, any news? And before we get started, Dre, how are you today?
Hey, feeling good. It's Tuesday.
Just Tuesday.
Grinding through the week, as they say.
Yes, we are. All right. Well, this we're going to do because the world of professional wrestling, it really has not slowed down for the last few months. It has been really phenomenal. And AEW back-to-back pay-per-view events. One of them was Butterflies and Rainbows, and the one this weekend was all the doom and gloom. It was dark. You went to overseas, and it was happy time, and everybody was cheering and smiling. It was like the WWE Sting from the mid 90s when he was all colorful and whatnot.
You mean WCW? Yes,
WCW Sting.
So you had Surfer Sting. You had Surfer Sting versus Surfer Sting versus Crow Sting.
Yes, that's exactly what we had with these two events. But here to break it down for us, our professional wrestling correspondent, Ms. Drede, was actually in the building.
I was in the building.
Let's talk about the event. You were there. We saw you in, Mustafa Ali's video that he had. He was out there. You were in the video.
And Ali We Trust all day.
In Ali We Trust. How was the environment of the event? Being there, how did it feel being in the building?
Yeah, great question. So first of all, I have been to many AEW events. So a gazillion. My sister and my brother-in-law, shout out Chantil, shout out Justin. We go to AEW events. You know what I'm saying? We go to those events. I mean, we just, we love wrestling and it's just a good time. And we can always count on AEW to be, in Chicago at some, fairly frequently. So it's always a good time. I would say this, AEW has a very interesting live event feel.
It's definitely different from the WWE. They have
very different
feels.
It's very different. I have always said that if you want to see the most diverse crowd in the world, go to a wrestling show, right? I've always said that, specifically with it, especially, since for many years, the only wrestling shows or mainstream wrestling shows we would go to were WWE shows, right? But I always just say, like, you'll see young people, old people, you'll see Black people, white people, everybody in between, jocks, nerds, and all of the niche groups, just in one big place in a big arena, whether it's Allstate or Wintrust or United Center, whatever. And AEW, I think, and I've noticed this in the last year or so, maybe two, they almost take that concept and they kind of have the niche of the nichest people in every subsection of, it's still a very diverse crowd, but they just tend to attract like the corners of the corner in terms of their live events, right? And I hope I'm making sense, and I'm sure others could probably agree with me with that. So it does call for an interesting experience as an audience member, because you're always going to get the fans who are loud and making chants. Like, that's wrestling. That's half the thing. But my sister and mother-in-law and I had the lovely we had the joy of sitting in front of, I would say, the equivalent of human internet trolls. So like the some of the worst IWC takes you'll see, we got to hear them in real life from real humans during the show. And I don't want to say it took away from the show, because it didn't, but it was just interesting to me. And as a person who kind of likes to study people and people watches all the time, I could not make sure I mentioned that during this. But
right,
overall, I think that an AEW show is it's a different experience. Do not go there thinking you're going to get a WWE live experience when you go to WWE, because it's not the same.
Right. Well, you can tell, you can see it. And again, if you've watched either, they've purposely made it a different show. It is definitely more of an indie feel, and you're going to get much more of the die-hard wrestling fans coming to. In fact, the ECW crowd is who you're going to get to come to an AEW show. You're going to get a combination of ECW and like a WWE mix. That's what it seems like. You're going to get more of that. And shit, AEW gives you as close to ECW at times it can be.
They definitely had all extreme wrestling this weekend.
I am telling you, they went hard this weekend. I mean, some of those matches are hard to watch, but one thing that is consistent with AEW pay-per-views, and I've said this time and time again, the storyline leading up to it might be complete booty. You know what I mean? It might be terrible, but the product on the night of the pay-per-views is phenomenal. It is exactly what you want from wrestling. They give you everything. They give you the warm and fuzzies. They give you the I'm jumping out of my seat excitement. They give you the oohs and every little thing they want. AEW really does great.
Should I be watching this? I'm still watching this, but should I be watching this?
We will talk about Swerve and Hangman in a minute. But let's talk about it. Rating this event. When you see it, I think I kind of alluded to it right now. This was a great event. This was A- at worst. I think at worst this is an A-. I mean, Pac and
my boy Billy Ocean Spray.
Billy Ocean Spray. Will Ospreay. If you know anything about these gentlemen, there was no doubt that this match was going to be insane. Ospreay, I think if it wasn't for Swerve, should be the wrestler of the year this year. He has been that good. And again, it's an argument between the two of those. Yeah. People can say Gunther all they want, but I think we cannot. Gunther hasn't put on the matches that he put on last year. Gunther doesn't have the matches that he had with Sheamus. He doesn't have those hard-hitting like that. He has good matches, but Will Ospreay and Swerve have had, I'm talking about 5-star type matches this year consistently. Absolutely. And on top of that, Swerve's storylines that he's gone this year have been, and we talk bad about the storylines in AEW, off the charts. Incredible what they're doing.
I want to touch on that a little bit, and because I think like the theme, the kind of like secondary theme of the show to me was story, right? Was story for every match. Every single one was almost like a blow off or like the end of a chapter, start of a new kind of situation. And that's true for pretty much every single match. And, you could say Pac and Ospreay didn't really have a story, but then later on Pac is involved in the other situation.
Exactly. And Ricochet.
And then Ospreay was Ricochet, right? So, it's almost like they did that. I'm going to just go ahead and flat out say it.
Okay.
Pac and Ocean Spray was the match of the night for me, myself personally.
I second that. I absolutely second that. Yes.
That is,
salute
I have to say
Willow as well. Willow, and we'll talk about that, man, because that was a great match.
That was my second favorite match of the night.
But please continue. I'm so sorry to cut you off.
No, that was the second favorite match of the night. If you don't mind, Serge, let's go down the card. Do you want to go down the court? I was a good correspondent and I took notes. You see that?
There we go. Yes. So
Serge has his notebook. I have.
I literally got like two of them right here with me. We good.
So we kicked off the show with Danny Garcia versus MJF. Yes. Yep. And so check this out. I have very little beefs with this show, but my one beef is the card order, the match order. Yeah. I feel like, and we'll get to this when we get to those matches, but they put the women's matches in the absolute worst possible spaces and places on that card you possibly could put them in.
Consistently, Tony Khan has done this.
Yes.
And I don't know if it's done purposefully or because I don't want to say he's just dumb. And he's doing or it's like, is it on
I think it's systematic. I think it's a systematic thing. I think it is when traditionally, when you have this match and that match, you put the women's match here. Yeah. I think it's that. I don't necessarily think it's a purposeful slight. And in the case of Willow and Statlander, God bless those women because
they did their thing.
The two things that saved them is one, they're Willow and Chris Statlander.
Yes. Incredible performers. If you do not know who these women are, do yourselves a favor. They are elite
two of the
performers.
Best. Two of the best. Yes. And for me, every time I watch them wrestle, I'm like, right. Yes. Every time I watch them wrestle, I'm like, exactly why I'm a fan of yours. Willow, when it comes to the street fight, she's the queen of the street fight at this point now. Because she's never missed in any of these. And the fact that this was a stipulated match is those are the two things that saved this match, saved it. Because I actually watched as everybody in the arena got up to go to the bathroom at the beginning of it. And it was heartbreaking. But what I also got to watch is them literally take the audience's attention and then never let it go into the end.
Salute to the point. Salute to those women for kicking ass.
To the point that there was a point when they just had the AEW All Out logo on the screens, and it was when they got up on the ramp to start the fight, and then we missed. I mean, you didn't miss it because we could see it still, but Willow hit Stat with the light thing. I call it the lightsaber, but the light thing, and then the spot of them spearing off of the stage that wasn't on the screen, and the audience started cheering, "We can't see, we can't see, we can't see." And
Chicago, so the most educated wrestling fans in the world.
So they put it back on. They put it back on the screen. They showed us a replay, which you never see in a live show, a replay of the spot, and then they put it back on the screen, and that was great. So I'm like, that's a testament to those women. So to me, they're the MVPs of the show. But yes. So anywho, Daniel Garcia and MJF. I personally think that Willow and Stat
this was the weakest match of the night. It was not saying that it was a bad match,
and that's
when it boils down to everything else. Like, one, I didn't care about the storyline. I don't care about MJF and Daniel Garcia. I don't. I generally don't. Sure. And granted, I think that they're both in-ring phenomenal performers. I really do. But when it boils down to it, it was good. It was good. I thought it was also a good match to kick it off because with MJF at the beginning, people are going to be excited because people like MJF.
And that's why they put it on the beat. Like, I get why it was there because I guess if you're looking at it on paper, if this is going to be the quote unquote weakest match of the night, put it on first. Everyone's excited because the two superstars in there are folks, the talent that they enjoy. Absolutely. I thought it was a good match. It was fine. It did its job. I do think Danny Garcia should have won personally, but I do like that he got his lick back at the end and was able to kind of celebrate with the crowd a little bit. So I appreciated that. I also would say this. It was a really good storytelling match too. That I have that list like as a note. I'm like, this told a really good story. And so I appreciated that. And then I also appreciated that if MJF is gonna win, have him win via cheating. Because the next match is the Claudio Yuta and Wheeler Yuta versus the Young Bucks. I haven't seen the Young Bucks new entrance live yet. This was my first time. That joint is hilarious. Them in this little fake private jet on the tarmac. I mean, they're funny. I think the Young Bucks they are in the conversation of being one of the greatest tag teams of all time. I think it's sometimes easy to forget that until you watch them wrestle again.
They're really good. They're really good. They're entertaining. Are they the Usos, the New Days, or the Lucha Bros? No, but who is?
No, and they're top 5.
They're top 5. Yeah,
I in terms and again, that's also like personality favorites too, right? Like we're gonna always put New Day, Lucha Bros, you know what I'm saying, Usos in front of them because.
But I'll be honest with you, I think those 3 are just better teams.
They're also teams I would love. Those are teams we like seeing them wrestle each other as well. So that kind of tells you a lot. That tells you a lot.
Oh my God! Could you see the? Look, and I don't know if they're leaving or not, but I would love to see the Lucha Bros in WWE.
I was trying to not talk about this because I already know how you're just literally like doing this. I already know that you're. God. I already know how you feel.
Just to be able to see them not only in that system, but to be able to see them because we'll get into WWE. Completely continue because we have things to talk about, and I want to make sure we don't have all the time today, so I want to make sure we get it and get all this in.
Yes, I think this was a fun match. I personally think this was the weakest match of the night. Was this match?
I will agree because I forgot about this match.
So yes, but it was fine. It was fun. No, nobody was mad it happened, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I love me some Claudio. So every time I get to see Claudio do the swing, I'm cool with that. And then we go to the.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I think that swing is the dumbest shit in the world.
I know you do.
I think it's so stupid.
But you weren't there, Serge. You weren't there.
Well, I'm here now, but that shit's stupid. I did appreciate Woods giving him a little shout out a couple weeks ago. I did appreciate that. But please, I'm sorry.
So the next match is the match of the night for both of us, Pac and Ospreay. Billy Ocean Spray, man. Listen, that is again. This my first though. This might be my second time seeing him wrestle in real life.
Oh. Is he that good in person?
Yes, better. Better than you think. That man's first step is crazy. Like there is no, don't look down. Don't cough. Don't look down. Don't put your phone away. If you're like just the whole time. It never stopped. It never stopped. You never wanted to take your eyes off the ring. The man is great.
Love it.
Period. Pac, I have got the lovely privilege of I got to watch Pac wrestle several times when I worked at NXT as Adrian Neville.
That is a privilege because he's
amazing.
Yeah.
And he was great then. He is ridiculous now. Can't. It's easy to just talk about Ospreay because obviously Pac. Then look, that dude. My notes started very like, oh, love that move, and then it just went to fire emojis. Then I just stopped because it was phenomenal, especially for a match we knew
the false finishes.
It's a match we knew Billy was gonna win, and it was still like we were still in it. We were still there. This is probably, and I think this might be the best match I've seen in real life.
Wow.
This is probably the best match I've seen in real life. And I need to remind y'all, I worked at NXT in 2014.
Yeah. And I'll say this too.
I saw lots of really good matches.
and I'll say this. The thing that makes Ospreay so good, and this is why also, and obviously they teased the match afterwards, I think why Ricochet in AEW is going to be so great is because in the WWE, they did not allow Ricochet to be as physical as he is.
Right.
AEW is going to allow him to be more physical and hard hitting. And the thing about Will Ospreay that people used to talk shit about him and Ricochet back in the day is they just called them flippy type of guys, right?
Yeah.
But now both of them have put on 20 pounds of muscle and they can lay a wallop on people. And if they're landing these shots on people, it's more realistic. These guys look like real life superheroes, the way that they're bouncing up and down, jumping off of things. They're wildly athletic.
Wildly athletic. Just
and they hit like that hidden blade that Ospreay does. I've had to watch it multiple times. I'm like, yo, he really cracked, dude. Like, it looks like he really.
How's your neck not? How's your neck not?
Exactly. It is. Salute to both of them.
Inches,
I love this match.
Centimeters. It's a game of centimeters. That is like the whole everything they do.
Yeah.
And I also want to say that they laid that match out perfectly.
Beautiful.
Like the highs and the lows, the ups and the downs, the hard hitting versus the flying flippy cool stuff, the false finishes. I think it was just a really good ride.
Match.
And I want to do it. I had a ball with that match.
Do you think that Ricochet should be the one to beat Ospreay?
I don't know. I want to see. This is what I want to see.
I want to see him in a feud. I want to see him in a good feud, though. Like,
and I think this might be the feud, right?
Yeah, and like a best of three. I'm happy to see him in a best of three.
Right, but like now I want to see a triple threat with him and Pac and Ospreay. I know I'm asking for a lot. I'm asking for a lot, but like I want that.
But you know what? Pac is with, and they have their thing now going on with the B. So I think he's gonna be out of it. I think this is a perfect opportunity. Again, same thing that we're getting with, let's say, CM Punk and Drew with this triple, like these 3 matches. I want to see a trilogy with them, and I think that will be a perfect way to bring Ricochet into the match. You give Ricochet the first one, you give Ospreay the second one, and then whoever is hottest at that moment, you give him the third, right?
Right. I mean, at some point,
moving forward.
And at some point, Billy's got to go for the big one. So, because I mean, I need you to understand.
And then in that case, it'd be good to have Ricochet have that other belt for a while, because I feel like they haven't done a great job with some of the guys coming over and people, the talent coming over. It takes time. Samoa Joe got a belt. Swerve, again, it took Swerve 2 years before he finally, 3 years before he started cooking, right? And now look at him. And he's another one, though. And this is the same thing.
Well, he won the tag. I think he won the tag belts with Keith Lee the first year he was there.
First 30-something days he got it quick.
It was quick. We were here on the show as it happened.
Here on the show. Surprise. They won? I was shocked. I was like,
we were shook. We did not believe that happened. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, but again, I think that was great. All right. We already talked about Willow and Statlander. What a great match.
Great match.
Phenomenal. All right. Well, after Willow and Statlander, what was that?
We had the Continental Championship. It was a 4-way with Orange Cassidy, Okada, Takeshita, and Mark Briscoe.
How was it seeing Okada in person?
Listen, nobody's gonna beat that. That intro so cold.
So cold. So cold.
I need production to give him more money. I need it to be more. I want more.
Look, I am an anime fan, so for me, when I see Japanese professional wrestlers and Japanese boxers and fight, like, it just puts me into that space.
Oh, and they
come up with the pomp and circumstance.
And it's that
an anime, yeah,
and it's all of that.
Awesome. It's awesome.
Takeshita, let me tell you something.
Calm down, Dre. Calm down.
I was going to say it's very talented talent.
Oh yeah, sure.
I enjoy his wrestling very much. Thank you. But shout out to Chicago. Shout out to Chicago being a very smart crowd because everybody went crazy when Okada and Takeshita had cleared the ring, and it was just them two. Yeah. And we're like, hi, because we want that. So can we have that now? And I think that is the person to dethrone Okada for that championship too. But but like you kind of copy and paste what you said about Ocean Spray and Ricochet having having a bit of a rivalry, an actual storyline behind it. Let's do that.
There it is. It gives AEW storylines, because what has been the knock on AEW? I don't give a fuck about y'all storylines. So if you guys have, that's two. They've done it with, and they're still doing it with Swerve and Hangman.
Oh, Hangman and Swerve have some of the best stories that they've ever done. Like, that is the best.
This is the best work either of them have done in their careers.
And Hangman has had several very good storylines in the AEW, right? So it's just, I think that it's in them. They got it in them. They just got to do multiple at the same time.
Absolutely.
and just got to do multiple at the same time.
I hope that they do it, because here we discussed this recently, because there's inklings, there's whispers that Bobby Lashley might be coming to AEW, right? If that is the case, it's an argument that AEW and WWE's talent is equal. We can honestly say that their talent is equal.
Oh, the talent level? Yeah.
Yeah, the talent level is equal. You can look at both rosters, and we can't sit there and say that this roster is head and shoulders better than this roster.
Better than, yeah.
The only thing that we can say absolute right now is they do a better job of storytelling.
We can critique storytelling, and we could critique production things, because we're in that world. So of course we're going to see some of that stuff.
Yes.
But other than that, no, talent wise, they're very equal playing field at the moment, which is great for us, because we get to eat good as fans.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Also, I have to say, because I've seen Orange Cassidy many times. Orange is so much. He's so much fun to watch live. It's fun to watch. It's fun to watch in general, but like live is a different. You just get it. You get it even more. And I would even argue, for people who don't like Orange Cassidy, you got to see it live, and then you'll get it. Because honestly,
I don't know how you don't get it in the first place. It's first of all, Goofy Wrestling
for life.
For life.
Like, shout out to Simon Miller. We love you.
Shout out to Simon Miller. Goofy Wrestling for Life. He actually just had a show, and it's on YouTube. If I think about Canada. It prior to in Canada, you can see his whole match on YouTube. Check it out. Salute to Simon Miller.
Ethan Page's promotion.
Yeah, exactly. But again, Orange Cassidy is great. If you don't like him, you don't like Goofy Wrestling, and what's wrong with you? But that was a fun match.
It was fun. It was fun. I think it was a tinge. It could have been a tinge shorter, just for me, because at that point, I was getting tired, but it was good.
Yes, because you were there for a 12-hour show.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. All right. And then the main event was next, right? Swerve.
No, it wasn't. We have 3 matches, actually.
Jesus Christ.
So the next match, again, terrible spot. Because we didn't mention Mark Briscoe, Ring of Honor champion. He's also a blast to watch live, like just a blast, and just hard hitting, and also goofy wrestling, but still very hard hitting and fun to watch. That I think might have been the first time I've seen him live, and lit. The next match in the other death spot of the show. Mercedes Moné versus Sheeta.
This is the second pay-per-view in a row that they've put her in a terrible spot. Just saying, and not only that, it's like back-to-back weeks. Like it makes it feel like they just don't want her to succeed. That's what it feels like.
Or they have a lot of faith in her star power, and they think that people will stay for her because it's her. And here's.
And I'll be honest with you, she got that finisher ain't it.
It ain't it, and it's not even that it's a bad move. It just looks it's not a good finisher.
It's not a good
and
finisher.
This is rough because Mercedes is close to my heart and everything, but for me, the match was a little clunky. It was a little slow to kind of get to moving. Once it got moving, it moved.
But that's row that feel clunky. And here's the thing.
There's a difference though.
Definitely
the
Britt is not a good performer.
And that was messy. I think clunky and messy are a little different. I think the all-in match with Britt was messy. This one was a little clunky in places, not the whole thing, thank God. But in places. I just, and it was a little long.
Again, some of these matches should only be 15 minutes.
And this one only needed 15 minutes. No one thought, and love Sheeta. AEW fans, by the way, like real, they love Sheeta. They love her. And so I think that's why they gave it a little more time. But this one, first of all, the crowd was dead by then, because after the 4-way and after Billy and Pac, then they get this, like, so the crowd was dead. They sat on their hands, which did not help the atmosphere whatsoever. And just this kind of lacked a spark, right? The Willow and Stat thing had the stipulation, which helped. With Mercedes and Sheeta, I needed some spark. I needed a little speed, even to kind of get everybody and wake everybody up. And this tried to tell a little bit of a slower paced story that this match didn't need. And it was just in a terrible spot to even attempt to do that, in my personal opinion. I need them to figure out the direction for Mercedes. I need them to figure out what we're doing with her and Camille. I need us to, my thoughts. Here's what they should do. Because I know it all. No, I don't. But no. I think Mercedes needs a crew. I think we have a good start with Camille. I think that was great, right? I think she needs 1 to 2 other people in this crew. Personally, I think that little tease between her and Okada, I think they need to go ahead and just make that a thing.
I'm not mad at that. Have her and Okada in a crew together. That'd be dope, because she embraces the New Japan style. She embraces that. It makes sense.
Her with the Bucks and their newfound, money, whatever. They're the EVP. She's the CEO. I mean,
it works.
It works. It's there. Camille as the enforcer, which is a nice flip on that, because she's a woman. Love that. And then her and Okada with the whole Japanese kind of vibe on it is.
I think that would work. That she does the Japanese style. I love the New Japan style. I love the pomp and circumstance that she does. I love that, but it's not translating in the ring to this point in time,
into this crowd either. Like there's a thank God she's a heel, because then I think that is a very big saving grace on this. And I just think all of it needs a little touching up. I don't want to call it polishing, but touching up. There needs to be a not a complete change in direction, but a slight change in the direction, even to me, in the presentation of the CEO. Like, for me personally, I think the presentation could be a little different. And if it was a little cleaner, I think everything else,
even the CEO chant on the intro, just doesn't come off good. It's not. It
doesn't fit.
It doesn't.
It just doesn't fit to me.
It doesn't fit. Just have some
all of the pieces.
Music, have some other stuff. It's just. It pains me to say this, because I'm such a fan of Mercedes. I think she's so talented. I think she's one of the greatest women wrestlers of all time. Unfortunately, what's happening is, because they're not presenting her the right way, when she left the WWE, all of the negative things that people said about her is now people are looking at it. It's easy for people to sit there and be like, you see, she's not who y'all said she was. And it's because of the presentation. And again, Tony's not putting her in a position to win at this present moment in time because of the presentations and things like that. But I'm a fan of Mercedes. I hope that
here's the thing. And I also want to say this too. Every great wrestler we know has always had a lull. has had a low point, has had a part where
Mysterio. My boy's all high, all high, all up in the air. We going.
Y'all can go back into several episodes of this very show and see that this man is lying. So
look, hey, anyway, and honestly, real quick, we were literally in the infamous group chat last night, and I was like, the only thing I want to see from Dom is him be a little bit more forceful and a little bit more assertive in the ring. And he went out there and put on a good ass match against Dragon Lee. Like, and I'm like, well, damn.
He heard you. I was like, he heard you. Also, remember, his daddy was standing outside the ring. Look, daddy was standing outside the ring. You know, everybody was like, all right, look, do this, do that, do that, do this, do that, do this, and that. And make sure you do this. Thanks. Good. Right. And he did. It's a great job. The last second to last match was Bryan Danielson versus Jack Perry. Okay. I was hearing, and I could be wrong. I don't know I think some people were kind of iffy about this match. I enjoyed this immensely.
Right.
I thought this was mad fun. I actually am a fan of heel scapegoat Jack Perry. My sister and my brother-in-law and I went to the New Japan show that was earlier this year here in Chicago, Windy City Riot. And that was the first time I got to see it. And he is the biggest heel in Chicago. Like, there is no bigger heel in the city of Chicago than Jack Perry right now. Oh, and so, like, Jack Perry is Dom Mysterio right now in Chicago. Like, I need y'all to understand how big of a heel he is.
And I'm not a fan of him anyways. Heel or not, I think people don't like him because he's just not good.
I don't agree. I think he's good. I don't see anything wrong.
I don't see it. I don't like him as a performer. I don't like him. You know what? But he's so young in the game. I'm gonna give him time. That's what it
ain't even 30 yet.
We only got a couple minutes left, so I got. Yes. Let's get.
We have to get to the angle after this match, right? Bryan Danielson is on his farewell tour, obviously, right? Yes. He is the AEW champion, and this is the main event, the sanctioned main event of the night. Yes. Daniel Bryan is one of the GOATs, if not the GOAT. He's a lot of people's GOAT.
He's a lot of people's GOATs.
And ain't nobody gonna argue with you. No. Like, and every time I've ever seen this man wrestle since forever, he reminds you of that. He is amazing. I love seeing the American Dragon. I got to hear the final countdown intro live, which was lit. Awesome. Amazing. And everyone was literally on their feet for this. The angle afterwards, of course, is what everyone is talking about.
Yes.
I need you to understand that anytime you see anytime you see a big man in a white tee, plain white tee, nothing good is gonna happen. And
Mox looks like he's been in the gym.
That ever since he got out of rehab a couple years ago, he's just gotten bigger.
Yeah, he's getting, because I saw him. I'm telling you, he walked past the camera, and I'm like, yo, he's big as Claudio.
And the bald head don't help either. Like, he just looked real badass. Badass. And everybody mark this down. It is September 10th, 3:33 Central Time PM. And SERG gave Moxley a compliment because that is not his guy normally. I love that.
Hey, let's go Deadpool Society, Mox.
Also, I was gonna say, people kind of forgot this, and I actually kind of did a little bit too. Christian Cage came out with with his crew, and I forgot he's got like that contract to cash in for a title shot. That's where Mox and everybody came out in the BCC and Pac. That was my first clue. I was like, he's not usually with this crew. And then, of course, Claudio came out in the white t-shirt like Mox did. I was like, they're going to turn on this man. And everything was taking too long, right? The hugs and the raising of hands. And then, of course, Moxley and crew turn on BD, on Bryan Danielson. Everybody's talking about the Mox putting the bag over his head and like suffocating and all the murder, all the attempted murder. I believe that is a callback for like a Terry Funk spot, a legendary Terry Funk spot that happened. And of course, Mox is a big Terry Funk fan. This was great. This had the crowd. Everybody knew something was happening. And again, Chicago's a very smart crowd. And this was very well executed. Shout out to Wheeler Yuta and his performance with Pac holding him back and him just, in tears. This was great. And this was also a really great way to end the sanctioned portion of the show before we get to the steel cage match with Hangman and Swerve.
Yeah. And unfortunately, we don't have that much time. So we literally got 2 minutes to get through this.
Yes.
So brutal match, amazing storytelling. Hangman gets the dub. And
cinder blocks. I'm never looking at cinder blocks the same way.
Oh my God. It was so brutal. Some of the things that I saw in there, the syringe in the mouth, the cinder block. I do have a problem with the chair shot. personally.
Can I say something about that?
Yes.
Go ahead. Go. No. Say
I'm just saying, I have an issue with the chair shot. CP is a real thing. We need to protect people. I don't care if the chair is bent in. I don't care if you're, they do anything. Nobody should be taking a direct headshot like that in any capacity. I know both athletes and performers agree upon these things. We should not allow that. And again, that's not me being, icky, whatever with it, or, it's just for the long-term health of these people. I would hate to see Swerve in 10, 15, 20 years to be slurring his words because of moments like this. So all in all, I thought the match was cool. It was a great match. It was a lot of fun. Even the nuance of Hangman at the end, where he was going to walk through, because this is the first time he ever walked through the heel tunnel. He started walking towards the face tunnel, and he kind of was like, oh, I want to go that way, but no, I got to go this way because of what I just did.
Gone too far.
Yeah, he's torn. I like that. But please, real quick.
I was to your point about the chair shot. I generally agree with you in terms of direct headshots. I think we're past that in wrestling this year. I was not sure if it was a direct hit when I was there live watching it. I was not sure if it was direct. Even when I saw it again on TV, I'm not sure if it was direct.
Did you see it on social media?
I did. And again, I don't know if the chair was gimmicked. I don't know. It sounded loud. Let me be clear. I was there. It sounded very loud. It echoed through the whole place. And it did. It got the reaction that they wanted, right? Everyone was like, ooh. I also just want to say that it was very quiet for the most of that match. Not because it wasn't interesting. Everyone was definitely leaned in like this, but it was almost, they were telling such crazy stories with it. Like everyone, it was like you were watching a movie essentially, and everyone was kind of like waiting for, okay, oh my God, they're gonna do that? Reaction, right? But I just want to say that these two men really put their bodies on the lines for us and for our entertainment in this match. And they succeeded in telling the story that they were trying to tell. And I mean, we were exhausted after.
Well, look, great show. Thank you so much for your notes and breaking that down for us. That's awesome. I'm so happy that you were there to be able to experience that.
Also, Mustafa Ali is the nicest gentleman. He's the nicest guy. Oh, he's just great.
Chi-Town, stand up. You know what I'm saying?
All day.
We will talk about WWE next time when we're here. There's so much going on, but we had to dedicate some time to AEW because we always talk about WWE. So salute, and Dre, thank you so much for that amazing recap. Everybody else, thank you guys so much for watching live. And as always, remember, don't forget who we're watching. Don't forget what time we're watching. What show is this?
This is Absolute Ricky Starks. I'm letting you know that you are listening to the Fight Podcast.
Let them know. All right. Like, share, and subscribe. Please do not forget, check out our merch, etsy.com/shop/the Fight Pod shop. Check that out today. For everything combat sports, boxing, MMA, professional wrestling, subscribe to the Fight Podcast YouTube page. Like, share, and subscribe to this as well. And do not forget to check out our Substack page. Thank you, guys. Love y'all. We'll see you next time. Follow us both on socials. It's right there. It's right here. Peace.